Hello, welcome back to Consumer Behavior. Today we are going to go through Chapter 5, Motivation. We do everything for a reason. There are two types of motivation, intrinsic and extrinsic. The main difference is the source. Intrinsic comes from within the individual, driven by personal desires. Intrinsic motivation can be more effective than extrinsic for long-term satisfaction, creativity, and performance. And that is when you want to influence consumer behavior. You want the person, the consumer, to realize that they have the need, the want, and the motivation to do whatever it is you want them to do. Intrinsic motivation. People want to believe they have control over themselves and their environments and want to determine what they pursue. People want to believe they have control. Motivation and goals, intrinsic, extrinsic forces drive the motivation. That takes consumers from a current state affected by unmet needs to goal setting, to goal striving, and ultimately to a desired state. Hopefully, if they continue to set out to achieve their goals. That is the process. Motivational drive. The drive theory, also known as the homeostasis theory, is the state of tension or arousal caused by biological or physiological needs, such as hunger, thirst, or the need for warmth. For example, if you're hungry, your blood sugar levels will drop below normal, which creates a physiological need. This need results in a psychological drive state that motivates you to seek out food to restore homeostasis, restore the balance. You were hungry, now you're not. How do you accomplish not being hungry? You have something to eat. That is the drive theory, also known as homeostasis. Needs, utilitarian versus hedonic. Utilitarian need, objective, tangible attributes of products. Hedonic need, multisensory, fantasy, and emotional aspects of consumers' interaction with products. Hedonic needs are most associated with products and services and items that, for lack of a better term, provide the consumer with pleasure. Multi-sensory, fantasy, you imagine what things could be like if you got this product or service. Emotional aspects are heavy in the hedonic. Utilitarian, much more objective, tangible. Your car is running out of gas. You need gas in your car. That's a utilitarian need, objective, tangible. Some people have a certain type of gas. If their car is so very low, they will go for any gas, but that's utilitarian. Hedonic would be other things. Again, it's much more consumerism to provide pleasure. Understanding needs, Maslow's hierarchy. Some of you have studied Maslow before. It directly applies in marketing, and it is so true. At the lower end of the pyramid is the physiological. That is the lowest level of need. I eat what I grow. Physiological is the lowest level. You move up to safety, to social, to esteem, self-actualization, self-transcendence. I can observe the cycle of life in my garden. Just an example of self-transcendence. It is thought that not many people reach number 6, but the other ones are reached many times, and you have to understand where your product fits in helping to satisfy one of these basic needs. How needs impact the differences in motivation, terror management theory, TMT. Research shows that people making people conscious of their own death activates safety needs and motivates people to engage in healthier behaviors. This isn't as dreary as you think. It's as if you go to the doctor and they say, oh, you're terribly overweight. If you don't lose the weight, you're really going to lose years on your life. That's terror management. What do? You change your habits a bit, and in the back of your mind, you say, okay, I need to lose some weight. Or you make a very conscious effort and you do lose the weight. Either way, that is, it's much more common than you think, the terror management theory. Self-determination theory, motivated by the physiological needs for autonomy, relatedness, and competence. Self-determination theory, SDT, you have autonomy, experience of volition and willingness. Relatedness, experience of warmth, bonding, and care is satisfied by connecting to and feeling significant to others. That's a very important one. That also has to do with self-image and why we buy certain products to fit in with the group. Because if we bought a different brand or a lower brand or even a much higher brand sometimes, you'd be talked about. So the relatedness is a very big motivator. Competence, belief in one's ability to perform essential tasks. That is a very important part of the self-determination theory. How needy are you? Some important needs that are relevant to consumer behavior include need to belong, need for power, need for uniqueness. Need to belong, I think we all understand that one. Need for power does not mean that you need to be the boss or the ruler or make all the rules. It's need to have power over yourself sometimes and not have other people or other regulations dictate what you do. You just want to have the feeling that you're doing things your way. And the need for uniqueness. And that starts every morning when a lot of people are getting dressed. Okay, what am I going to wear? What color goes with what? Will I be me and not really looking to be somebody else? What are examples of the need for affiliation, power, uniqueness at work, in your relationships, your parents' needs, social groups, sports teams? These are all part of the group of activities and relationships that help satisfy our need for affiliation, power, and uniqueness. And included in that is the needs of your parents, which many times the siblings will try to help their parents satisfy the needs, but you consider them, and that affiliation is important. Motivation influencer, setting goals. Most likely to achieve goals when we set goals, commit to reaching the goals, and monitor progress toward achievement. Hence the graphic of the young lady with her watch that sure is either timing or tracking her activity that day. It helps to commit to reaching the goals and to monitor. A lot of times we set goals, and not just us, but consumers in general, but don't really get after them and commit to reaching them. We may commit to reaching them, but don't do anything to monitor. So when you're influencing consumer behavior, you want to give the consumer the ability to do all three of these. Goal specificity. Goals cannot be too generic. They must be specific. A specific goal provides a concrete reference point. Specific goals, people focus on achievement and end result. Non-specific goals, people focus on the starting point. That is why you see some commercials on TV now that was the second or third Friday in January. Many people give up their, I'm going to get in better shape or I'm going to work out more goals. They focus on a starting point, which is the first week of January. And by the end of January, they're done. Where consumer behavior, to have a real impact, you need to help people with their specific goals, and they must be, cannot be too generic. Consumer involvement, inertia, cult products, all tied together. Elements of involvement. You have the antecedents of involvement and the possible results of involvement. And in the middle, I have involvement. You have the person factors, needs, importance, interest, values, objective or stimulus factors, which is the differentiation of alternatives, source of communication, content of communication, and the situational factors, purchase, use, and occasion. Advertisements, products, purchase decisions are all impacted by these antecedents of involvement. Possible results of involvement, elicitation of counter argument to ads. Maybe you'll see an advertisement and say, no way, man, I tried that before and it doesn't do what they say it will do. Effectiveness of an ad to induce a purchase happens every day. By either reinforcing something or reminding somebody that they need some, or possibly opening somebody's eyes. Oh my, I didn't know that was available. I need to research that more, and that will lead to that consumer buying it. You move on down the line and you see all the different results of involvement. And this again gets into how the advertisements, the products, and purchase divisions are impacted by each of these. Types of involvement. You have the product. Product involvement is perceived risk, mass communication, brand loyalty, variety seeking. You have perceived risk as you flow down the chart. Perceived risk can be monetary, can be functional, can be physical, social, psychological. There's all kinds of risk factors in consumers' purchase decision for a product or a service. These are the evaluation factors that guide consumer behavior. Perceived risk, which is a big one. And this is something that really allows people to talk themselves out of things. Very rational in its in the way it works. Buyers most sensitive to risk, monetary risk, money and property, functional risk, alternative means of performing the function, meeting the need. Practical consumers are most sensitive. In the light blue shaded area, you have purchase most subject to risk. The monetary is the high ticket items. People really think about, am I spending this money? Am I getting what I'm paying for? And then you go down to the bottom, psychological risk, expensive personal luxuries that may engender guilt, durables, and services whose use demand self-discipline or sacrifice are most sensitive. And you start to see social risk, socially visible, symbolic goods, jewelry, cars, homes. These all have these are making a social statement. So you study this chart a little bit and you can see the buyers most sensitive to the risk and the purchases most subject to the risk. And this is definitely something that consumers consider with most of their purchases. Types of involvement, the message. Message involvement includes alternative reality, as we saw, I think, last chapter. Relatable stories you've heard or seen, celebrity endorsers, feature unique value attributes, social media influencers, messages that create urgency, special offers, messages, easily memorable slogans or jingles. These are all types of message involvement that consumers are receiving on an hourly basis. Types of involvement, situational. Situational involvement is where we promote where people consume a product or service, personalization, use technology to engage and excite. Give an example of this is going to a July 4th party, backyard party, good friends, bunch of people getting together in somebody's backyard barbecue. Situational involvement is what is going on. It's a backyard barbecue. You want to maybe bring a host gift and you like to bring something that they can open and enjoy right there. So you bring a bottle of wine or a pack of, who knows what, some cookies to put on a table or something. That is the situational involvement. When maybe a friend's, a lady, has a baby and you're going to go visit in the hospital. Again, the situation of where are you going? You want to bring a little gift. So the gift you buy or whatever it is you do has to do with the situation. And that's a very important type of involvement um, and used to drive consumer behavior. Marketers must understand the motivation. Motivation refers to the processes that lead people to behave as they do. It occurs when a need want is aroused that the consumer wishes to satisfy. Once a need want has been activated, tension exists that drives the consumer to attempt to eliminate it. I want that. I don't have that. How do I get that? That is what is going on in the consumer's head once a need want has been activated. And it can be activated by many different ways. Marketers provide direction on how to eliminate this need. I should say successful marketers provide direction. Well, I guess they all try to provide direction on how to eliminate this tension. I want that. I don't have that. How do I get that? 3 questions that are very tied together. Here's a case study about Apple and how Apple gets consumers to spend money. The psychology behind a new iPhone release and why it's so hard to resist. You've all seen these lines on the media, on the TV, and places where Apple's getting ready to release something. Quick timeline: 2007, Apple announced its first iPhone. 2019, 900 million active iPhones in the world. Basically 12 years later. 2019, Apple announces iPhone 12. 2 million people pre-ordered the device in the first 24 hours. Apple marketers are scratching their head going, I think we're onto something here. Why do customers hype and covet every new iPhone release? The psychological reasons make new products and next generation products hard to resist. Apple has nailed the psychological marketing to their customers and prospective customers. Consumers are attracted to what's next, and Apple has dialed into that as good as anybody. Each new generation of iPhone has new features. iPhone 4, first front-facing selfie. iPhone 5S introduced Touch ID. iPhone 12, larger screen, faster network, advanced cameras, on and on. Every new generation has features. Consumers attracted to improvements in quality and capability. Even when their current iPhone is fine, they still attracted to the improvements in quality capability. Each new generation of iPhone represents innovation and tomorrow. And we live in a world where what's new and next is considered very valuable. Self-signaling, you're not outdated. Your iPhone is a strong mechanism for something called self-signaling, a concept in behavioral economics that has to do with how your actions influence your beliefs about yourself. And part of this with the iPhone is iPhone has created this phenomenon. People look at phones now like they used to look at the car you drive or the type of pants the Levi blue jeans or the designer jeans or what have you. Now they look at your phone. Oh my, that person's outdated. They must not be up on things. Having the newest iPhone boosts your self-esteem and reminds you that you're not outdated. Again, the self-image that we're going to get into more depth in some upcoming chapters. Every time you look at that phone, it reinforces who you think you are. Now, some consumers will discuss this and say, oh, no, I just really like the new things, this and that. I said, well, why'd you buy? Your other phone was fine. Well, I just really like having the latest version. Well, again, having the newest iPhone boosts their self-esteem. Pretty much 99% of the things they do with the phone could have been done on the previous model. But like I said, it's something that Apple and iPhone has really dialed into. Apple's strategy of scarcity. Here's another tactic that this brand uses. When a new iPhone is released, it's customary to see lines snaked around Apple stores for hours before they open. To consumers, a line outside of a storefront signals that whatever is inside is valuable. There are two behavioral economic concepts at play here: social proof, convincing people that other people want the product, therefore, they all can't be wrong. I should get in that line. And scarcity, fear that there may not be enough. And actually, scarcity is a tactic used by quite a few brands. I know if you shop online, sometimes they'll say how many left, and there'll be a counter, and you can say how many of whatever item it is you're looking at, how many left. That's a scarcity strategy to get the consumers to act quickly, close the deal. Consumers respond to scarcity marketing. When the consumers think an item is scarce, heightens their arousal, makes them feel panicked, and triggers thoughts of urgency. The perception of scarcity makes consumers less discerning, less likely to research their options because they don't have time, want to click buy, and not want to miss the boat. And that is very involved with the scarcity marketing tactic. Don't miss the boat. Buy it now. It's a social experience. Apple has done an excellent job of leveraging the social experience, waiting for the next generation, anticipating the next generation, and generating buzz about the next generation. Apple's pre-release announcements, drop dates, long lines create a different experience than you feel with any of their competitors. None of them have even come close to generating the pent-up demand that Apple can do. Apple can. How Apple succeeds? Well, they continuously update their consumer behavior insight. Once a consumer purchases a product or downloads iTunes, Apple, or any of the Apple services, Apple has access to data the company leverages. Apple uses this information to gain significant insight into the consumer and what drives their purchase. Yes, they do. Apple's wheel of consumer analysis: affecting cognition, consumer behavior, consumer environment. Affecting cognition is where they develop the messages and what is going to be sent out and absorb into the consumer's minds. How does that impact the behavior? And then they get the consumer into an environment where they can really put the pressure on to buy. Affect. The affective system is defined as the way individuals respond to outside stimuli. An individual is purely reactive and includes moods, emotions, and any other special feelings that may ignite a physical reaction. That physical reaction in this case is get that credit card out and buy this iPhone. But that is really the affect stage in the consumer behavior process. Apple and affect. Apple and I apologize, affect. The brand assets are sleek and modern chrome color. This look positions the brand for a new century in the mind of the consumers. 2008 study reported that the Apple monochromatic logo made individuals more creative and stimulated the brain based on exposure to the logo. That is the affect Apple has when people see their logo. Apple has on consumers. Sleek and modern. Cognition, the mental processes include understanding, evaluating, planning, deciding, and thinking. Understanding, evaluating, planning, deciding, thinking. Cognition is defined as the consumer's knowledge, meanings, and beliefs about Apple, in this case, based on experience and retained memory. And the retained memory is very important because you are seeing Apple. They do a great job of what's called the multimedia strategies, and you got their messages coming at you from all different directions, and it's retained. And generally, it promotes the same modern and the modern positioning. Apple in cognition, the brain occupies a cognition based on developing an eye-catching, simple design and ease of use for complex technologies, resulting in significant benefits for the consumer. Eye-catching, simple design, ease of use for very complex technologies, resulting in significant benefits for the consumer. That's their pitch. That's their brand positioning. Consumer behavior. The physical actions of consumers can be directly observed and measured by others. Understanding, analyzing, and influencing consumer behavior leads to sales and profits ultimately. That is the ultimate goal of everything that the Apple does in the affect and cognition stage to get people to leads to sales and profits. Apple and consumer behavior, using its integrated channels, including online, retailer point of sale, and iTunes, Apple captures detailed information about consumer behavior. Apple uses this insight to tailor products and brand messages that resonate with the target audience. They are constantly monitoring and analyzing, how do people perceive this product? How do people perceive that product? What is it that it means to them? And reshaping and tweaking their campaigns. Consumer environment. Social and physical attributes of the world around them include spatial relationships, physical objects, and the social behavior of others. The physical environment, including influences such as reference groups and online and offline retail environments, also have a large impact on Apple's success. Apple in the consumer environment. Mass market retailers. Apple uses strict control over key elements. Apple dictates pricing and how its products are displayed. They are very strict on telling people how you're going to present our products. Apple stores. Experience includes one-on-one tutorials, product repairs, and workshops to provide an unparalleled customer experience. If you've ever been to an Apple store, you know what they're talking about. It is a very comfortable place to be, and you can really get a lot of things accomplished by going in there. Central idea for Apple's marketing is this: people do not buy what a company does, people buy why they do it. Again, Apple, it presents a very simple design for some very complex technologies. That is why they do it. The why is the focus. According to Apple, everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to also make great computers. Want to buy one? That is the why that is focused on by Apple. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. Shared beliefs. Apple's method of communication provides consumers with trust, confidence, and a set of shared beliefs, inspiring people to make a purchase from the company. The result, consumers have confidence they are purchasing a quality product. Trust and confidence, two extremely important attributes that need to be attached to any successful product, any product that hopes to be successful. Apple case study is an example of how research leads to successful marketing strategies and tactics. The result is a distinctive competitive advantage that drives meaningful business results, all based on research. That's it for this one. Assignments, read chapter 5 and 6, and there are quizzes posted in Canvas for chapter 5 and 6. Chapter 6 will be posted very soon.